But I want to go into some more details with you. So you kind of have a unique thing outside of here where you work obviously in the military, and you're a big part of their fitness program. And honestly, I don't even know every aspects of it. I should, as a part of your partner in crime here. But can you just tell us a little bit more about kind of what you do for the military? And
yeah, so
I mean, we appreciate you, number one. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. I'm your host, Raymond Elliott, lead personal trainer at Go Time Training in Northeast Wichita, Kansas. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years now, and I've seen it all. This podcast cuts through all the fads and gimmicks to give you a science-based truth on all things fitness and nutrition, so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. If you want to live happier and healthier and get the scoop on how to work out, eat right, and keep a positive mindset, you're in the right place. It's go time. Now, let's get to the show. Here we are. We're I don't even know what podcast this is, but anyways, bringing you guys all the science-based news and truth about fitness and health and all that great stuff. So I'm here with my esteemed co-host, Mr. Jake Linn. So you can always tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to the viewers.
So yeah, this is my second time on the podcast.
Number 2.
Which is great because everybody is obviously listening to these, so we're able to keep on doing these and putting these out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
Thank you.
Just to run the background again, so I've been here, 8 years now this month?
Yeah,
so
it has been this month, huh?
This will be my 8th year anniversary here.
Woo!
And
Party time.
So I've gone through a lot of development over the years, starting with just having your personal training certification, and then you kind of build upon that, so with my FMS level 2 now, precision nutrition level 1 coach, I'm working on CSCS, and then actually building upon my CPT with an advanced certified personal trainer. So
it's amazing how much. It's just crazy. Like me and you've kind of been through here through the very beginning. In fact, you're the only other personal trainer really that has stuck through the whole aspects and been a part of the whole transformation. And it's just really, I think I even forget. And sometimes I have to fall back and like, Jake, you remember in this? And it's just amazing to see the transition, not only in our company and how much we've changed, and how really a lot of your input on semi-private training, functional movement screens, all those things has really been a big part of why we're successful in the evolution into our company, but just in fitness and our clientele and everything. You've seen a ton of transformations within the company and within the people that work here and go here. So it's been pretty awesome. So
yeah, that's one of the things that's kind of like helped us evolve a little bit, is just we started just focusing on one thing, right? And then all of a sudden the demographic changed, and we just exploded with, going from PT programming,
right?
For 12 weeks to
12
online
week
coaching, and we started implementing
fitness competitors.
Fitness competitors was a big one. Everybody was competing about that time. So,
yeah.
And then we just jumped ship to group training, knocked down the wall.
Yeah.
Built that up, and then we started implementing the SPTs, so the small group. So there's a big evolution from where we were 8 years ago till now. So
I just think we realize how much the general public need, and just how much that is a huge part of what a focus on, and how that takes a long transition of help, and 12 weeks is just honestly not enough. You really need 12 weeks. People are really just starting to get into understanding the things that they need to do, and just getting to a point where they really can advance. And really, personal training and fitness is lifelong, and if we can be a part of that throughout their whole journey, they're just going to be more successful and continue to break through plateaus and go there. And we realize a lot of people are in aches and pains.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of different things we realized. I think we kind of had an idea of that, but we help institute that into the principles of Go Time. So, I give you a lot of credit for the success and the amazing amount of people that we've helped, which has been hundreds, if not more. So you probably solely alone. So anyways, 8 years of that. But I want to go into some more details with you. So you kind of have a unique thing outside of here where you work obviously in the military, and you're a big part of their fitness program. And honestly, I don't even know every aspects of it. I should, as a part of your partner in crime here. But can you just tell us a little bit more about kind of what you do for the military? And
so
we appreciate you, number one, for that.
Thank you. So for me, I'm going into almost about 15 years in service now. So we're getting closer to that 20 years to where I can hopefully retire out,
That's awesome.
with 100%. And but the Army in general has just come a long way in the fitness aspect itself. So for the last 45 years, we've done the same physical exercise day in and day out.
Yeah, the military is not really much on changing much.
No, it was very, very routine, right? So we went from what we call the APFT, or the Army Physical Fitness Test, which just consisted of push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run.
I can't believe they still did sit-ups for so long.
Yep, for 40 years. That's a long time without change,
Yes.
And then it wasn't until about the last 10 years or so that they started gathering data, going through multiple wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, multiple deployments from soldiers going from 2 to anywhere to 8 deployments, so a lot of that started taking a toll, and we just started seeing muscular injuries go up, stuff that could be prevented that wasn't,
right.
Just because the way the fitness in the Army was kind of built around, right? It's not like you come here, you have all these avenues that you can go to. Whether you got some aches or injuries like that, you can go see a PT,
right.
You can go see a chiropractor, you can get cupping done nowadays.
I saw that.
So I got
your
some
photos done.
Yep, got some done this morning.
Thought about that being a podcast, but I figured we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, so I mean, you got all these different avenues as far as not just exercise alone, but trying to prevent and fix or try to rehabilitate,
right.
Some lingering injuries or some acute injuries, stuff that can be preventable, and we can build upon those and hopefully prevent those from a future
right? Yeah.
Aches, right? The Army wasn't really doing that, so we didn't have a whole structure to where we can go, all right, so this guy's got an injury, right? So now we're going to take this injury, we're just going to put him on profile, right? We're just write down he's not going to be able to do this exercise and the APFT. Cool. So he would just do what he could, whether it be push-ups, sit-ups, and the 2-mile run.
Right.
So they kind of had a modified way to gauge that, but it wasn't really setting an example of how to fix the injury, right? So,
right. They were just basically we're not going to deal with it.
Yeah, there was a problem, and it wasn't being addressed.
Right.
Right. Or if it was very minimal.
Basically, here's a limitation, so we just won't deal with that limitation.
Right.
You'll just do what you can, but we're not going to fix this at all.
Yeah, and if it came down to it, then a lot of times it was, okay, you're probably going to get meted out, And so there was a lot of guys who probably could have had injuries rehabilitated rather easily, being forced out due to, medical, right? And that was costing, millions and millions of dollars to the Army, and you kind of put that back into taxpayer funds, whatever,
Right,
so a lot of that money was kind of wasted in sense, so overseeing that data, now the Army in the last 10 years has started to accumulate, how can we change things now to where we can keep everybody in,
right,
lower the amount of money we're spending on trying to fix people and then end up sending them out.
Right, yeah.
So now they've come up with a new approach, which is called what we call the holistic health and fitness approach. So they want to treat it as almost like profession, right? A professional. So if we look at professional athletes, even college athletes, they go through a series of, okay, here's exercise, but first we start implementing movement screens, right? So we kind of see beforehand, all right, we're going to see what your limitations are, where you need help, what can we fix prior to you getting injured if it comes to that case.
Right. It's funny because we just talked about this with Julie and how she was saying that needs to be more for general public, but athletes as well. And we didn't even see that. We're talking about now, scouts and then those things are looking at people's mobility, and they might choose somebody that maybe has a little bit less performance, but they know that they're less injury prone because of their movement patterns or anything like that, and how many things are preventative and how much that, that is now starting to see. So it's amazing how things are now starting to kind of to catch up even in the sports world.
Yeah. So I think a lot of what we do now in the military as far as this fitness approach now is learning off of what civilian side does, right? So what we do here, as a
Right.
prime example, we were far more scientific based here than we were in the military.
Wow.
So we were
That's
kind
amazing.
of, but now they started, implementing those movement screens from the FMS. They've started to implement training programs as far as strength and conditioning, building out programs from a Army Master Fitness Trainer approach now. So they've started implementing more unit MFTs to overlook the training program
And that's
for the
your
units.
title,
And so that,
right?
yes.
Okay.
So I've actually gone through that program. I hold that responsibility with the
Wow,
unit.
that's awesome.
And then once we find, there's an injury or somebody has, some type of musculoskeletal injury, and guess what? Now we can take them, okay, we're going to send you to the medical. You can see the medical. They're going to refer you to PT if they need to, and then you're going to go through a rehabilitation process.
Right.
And then that'll come back down. They'll reevaluate. You'll go through another movement screen, get with the MFT, build the program as far as rehabilitation, strength and conditioning, and then moving you back into being able to take that new ACFT.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah, and it's just come back around as far as 40 years ago to now. You're looking at, wow, what a change.
Yeah.
You go from 3 event exercises doing same physical training day in and day out with the same results.
Right. Yeah.
And but now we're looking at it more of how can we keep people healthy,
Right.
So
Well, I can imagine, like you said, that saves millions of dollars, which is obviously important in the military and for us as taxpayers. And then also, I imagine having soldiers, if there is a circumstance like wartime, having people that feel better, just like sports, right? If you have a bunch of athletes that are better, there's going to be less injury prone. They're going to perform a lot better. I would imagine that would be the same thing in the military. So it's kind of surprising that it's took that long for something that is so important. Extremely important to kind of lack on that aspect. But I mean, that's a lot of people's mindset, and it's taken a while for obviously us as general population to get into that. It's taken a while in some sporting events, and still you see a lot in high school and college where they're still not up to say that. And I guess it's took a while for the military to get in that, to have individualized programs and look at each person. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it goes along with some of your other occupations as well, whether it's fire, EMS, first responders, law enforcement,
those officers or fire departments to do their tests, and they come in. That's the only reason why they would get training, and I'd be looking at them just like, really, this is this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so you can kind of look at these different professions, from a military standpoint, from regular civilian jobs, seated positions, stuff like that. You can kind of pinpoint, where they're going to struggle at, you know, and then when you start seeing that injury rate, increase and no changes being done, that should be almost like a red flag on, okay, something needs to change because what we're doing is not working.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so I think with the change of command, up in DC and the development of the holistic health and fitness approach in the Army, a lot of that stuff is coming to fruition. And now we've actually implemented to where it's going to be mandatory and it's going to be, here to stay, just like you would treat professional athletes and some of your clients that we have here.
Yeah.
So you refer them out if they have, certain injuries or pains and stuff like that. And that's, it's catching up for almost everybody in a profession. So
that's really cool. It's cool to see that progress, and I'm glad that it's here, and I'm glad that you're a part of it. It's pretty awesome to have you here and have somebody that is working with our military, which obviously is extremely important to us. And so through that aspects of working, in the military and going through those things, obviously it seems like you almost brought some of the things that we do here to the military. What are some things from like the military as far as a mindset, if people wanted to train, I hate to use it like train like a soldier, but if that was the hashtag of this podcast, what are some things that you think that you've learned through the military that would be or could be implemented into general fitness or our clientele or the people out there listening?
Yeah, I think a big part is going to be a mindset. I think a lot of structure that you have on a military side is, pretty set in stone. Like I got to do this, or if I don't do this, is the consequences. Like that's always that thought process. And I think a lot of people who, especially people who are really busy, who, sometimes make excuses for time and stuff like that, they don't really have that mindset of the cause and effect, right? So if I don't do this, this is probably what's going to happen, And I think if we can bring a mindset to where, hey, I know I need to do this, even though I don't feel like doing it, but I got to do it. You know, it's there's no questions being asked, there's no excuses being made.
You don't have an option.
Yeah, and and sometimes that falls back on the military as well. You still see some of that lingering with some
people are human.
Yeah,
regardless.
Regardless of what you do, but at the same time, in the military, you always have somebody that's a higher rank that's going to be like, hey, this is what we got to do, this is what we got to get done, and to go do it.
Yeah, some of the greatest leadership books, which are kind of drawing a blank, I know This Your Ship and a few other ones, all been military based. And there's some great leadership books, and they a lot of times talk about it, like just like even like habits, like making your bed every morning and those things. And they're not always just because you need to have a made bed, but it's those mindsets of starting your day off with a task that you accomplish and how that can lead to more tasks and how those build character. And sometimes we fall apart from that. And so a lot of people's like, make your bed every morning because that just is one positive task structure, and that's how you start your day. Yeah. And it goes more into just, you have a bed that looks nice.
Right. Yeah. So structure is huge. If you can have a planned out schedule.
Some book at their Extreme Ownership. That's a good one.
But if you can have a structure set up to where this is what you got to accomplish throughout the day, and you kind of check it off as you go, or you keep it in the back of your head that, hey, this is what I'm going to do first. This is priority, and then you go on to the rest of your day, right? So for me, I'm here from anywhere from 11:15, 11:30 till 7:30, 8:30,
Right, yeah.
So a lot of my day is here in the afternoon and evening. Right. So a lot of my stuff that I need to get done has to be done within the morning hours, right. So I'll get up anywhere from 6:30 to 7 before my wife leaves work. Right. And then once she leaves, I'll go to the gym, get my workout done. Or for instance, this morning I went to go get some cupping done and some adjustments done. Yeah. So I had to go get that done, and it's just little things that I had to get done before I come to work. Otherwise everything else closed by the time I get home. Right. So I got to prioritize my day starting from first thing in the morning all the way till I come to work. So a little bit of structure helps, especially when you don't feel like doing something and you got to do it. It's just get it done, get it over with. You're going to feel so much better once you get it done. So
that's amazing. So you're implementing a little bit of things that we utilize here for our clients to individualize and keep them from injuries and make sure that they're continually progressing in the military now and teaching that and going through those parts. And that's now part of that. And then we can obviously take from the military, the structure, the mindset, the responsibility, pushing yourself sometimes when you don't really want to, and put that into our own lives to be successful. Anything else that you think that from just a military standpoint or anything else from those aspects that you think? I know that's kind of what we're talking about, but
I mean, like just a recap, everything that the Army is doing now, I think you're going to start seeing further down the road in other military departments. Whether I think the Air Force is starting to implement something new. Whether the Marines and Navy are going to do something new. It's hard to tell at this time. Yeah, I think there was some talks about it, but I think you're going to start seeing a trend throughout the whole military. Yeah. That, hey, this is where we got to go, especially with fitness. It
should be
looking at another thing that they were looking at was the obesity rate that was on the increase. It's not just civilian world on the increase, but military side as well.
Yeah, I've read a lot of things with like the military, and then like even like when we talked about also like in fire department, like those firefighter calendars are not as popular anymore because they're seeing a lot of people that are struggling with those things. They're struggling to pass the different tests that they have to, and I think that's just an issue society wide, and that obviously leaks itself into our different parts of our help through military and police and fire departments and all those things. So.
Especially through an overall health. From looking at it from fitness aspect, injury reduction, money spent at the hospital, all that stuff comes into play.
Oh, of course.
When you can try to cut back on some of that increase in obesity,
right.
But unfortunately, with the way things are with the technology and stuff like that, it makes it easier to be a little bit more complacent,
of course,
a little bit more relaxed. Not doing as much throughout the day. So it's kind of taking a toll than it was, let's say 50, 60 years ago when, you had a rate that was very minimal.
Right. Yes. So very minimal. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I think, like you said, you hit it on the head, even cost-wise. That's why you see even like corporations are now, hiring personal trainers, having wellness centers, part of their job, incentivizing people to exercise because that cuts down so much on their insurance and the cost they have to get. I mean, 80% or the highest workman's comp is lower back, which, is obviously it's 80% of everybody's going to suffer from some kind of lower back acute injury, but it's also very preventable just through some basic exercise and movements. So you could probably save, I mean, I don't know how much money you can save within corporations by just helping people with not having lower back pain. And you see that now they have times where everybody has to get up and stretch for a while. So
ergonomics.
You're starting to see this, even though really, I mean, a lot of this knowledge has been out there for a long time, but you're now starting to see it creep into different places. So it's exciting for us to be a part of it, to be in the industry for so long and kind of see things that we've been preaching and learning ourselves beforehand are now other people are starting to learn it. And I mean, I think it's a great thing for the general public to just have ideas on that. Again, I know a lot of these podcasts, we constantly talk about corrective exercise, functional movement screens, working on their health, but we've just seen how much impact it's had in all aspects of life. And now we're seeing that impact in the military, which is maybe one of the most important places you can possibly be to want to be physically fit and injury free, I would think.
Yes, absolutely. Because if we look at the injury rate in the active duty side, I think they said it was like 56,000 had at least 2.5 injuries a year.
Wow.
So, looking back at cutting that, that's about 53% of those who spent days on medical time off.
All right. And getting paid.
And all that starts to add up.
Medical.
And you can see the same thing from business aspects too. Somebody gets hurt at work, they're out for 30 days or 90 days, however. Yeah. And you're still having to pay. If you can somehow, incentivize a healthy lifestyle and lowering insurance costs and making it a better work environment for businesses, corporations, what have you, it's going to be better in the long run. So
well, cool, man. Well, once again, appreciate you so much for what you've done here, but also obviously appreciate you for what you've done for our country. We're glad that we have intelligent people out there working here and working for the military and helping them advance, because obviously we're extremely thankful for our military. So thank you, brother. Do you have anything else that you want to say to these lovely people out there?
No, I think
in the world?
I think I got it out. So
sweet, man. Well, thank you, bro. All right. Healthy Living Wichita. God bless you guys and all those other good things, and have a good one.
All right.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. If you enjoyed today's show and want to get started with your own fitness journey, I'd love to help kickstart your goals. How do 4 60-minute personal training sessions for $99 with me sound? Head over to www.gotimetraining.com/podcast to claim yours. I can't wait to meet you.